Guys, Father is urging me to make another video. It's very important. This one is about Babylon. Please stick with me today. I want to give all praise to the Father, the Holy Spirit, and my brother Christ. Yesterday when we did the study on who was the elect, who was the 144,000, and who is the bride, I had came across, a few scriptures for that teaching. And, I noticed something else that led me to another study that I wanted to do. And I want to start in Revelations. I want to start in Revelations. Sorry, y'all. My phone has been running really slow lately. So Revelations 18. Let's go there. It says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations shall drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously. I don't know if that's deliciously. One of them. It say deliciously, yeah, with her, shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of most precious wood and brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of man. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find thee no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all of the company and ships and sailors, as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their head and cried, weeping and wailing. Pay attention, y'all. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, the great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her coastlines, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and you holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. In the sea. Pay attention, because it don't say ocean, it say in the sea. Pay attention. Pay attention, saints, elect, bride. Pay attention. Thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians, and of pipers and trumpets shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. Stay with me, y'all. Yesterday we were in Isaiah. And I read 47, even though it wasn't part of the lesson that I was given, just because I was feeling led to read it. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks and make bare thy leg. Uncover thy thighs. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and go into the darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever. So thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. So this is about the end days, the latter days, guys. Therefore, hear now this. Though thou art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. When we read that, and we just read that in Revelations. But these two things, let's get it again. Revelations 18. So you see the angel with the main angel with the millstone saying Babylon is fallen. And it say, hold on you guys, where is it? Where is it? Revelations Yeah, 8:7. Sorry, y'all. He said, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. So let's go back to Isaiah 37. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in one moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for thy great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou wast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be put unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee. Okay. So right there we know the Messiah is telling us that it's the Chaldeans. It's the Chaldeans. He tells us the people. Now, first thing I did was I'm like, okay, well, where was the Chaldeans? And you can see that it gives us Arabia. Then you see Chaldea, it's like Iraq area, and Assyria. Okay. It said that these people were not native. So they were not even native to the area. So Chaldea was a Semitic speaking nation which existed between the late 10th or early 9th and mid 6th centuries BC, after which it and its people were absorbed and assimilated into Babylonia. It was located in the marshy land to the far southeastern corner of Mesopotamia and briefly came to rule Babylon. During a period of weakness in the east, Semitic-speaking kingdom of Babylonia, new tribes of West Semitic-speaking migrants arrived in the region from the Levant between the 11th and 9th century BC. The earliest waves consisted of the Chaldeans and the Armenians, followed a century or so later by the Chaldeans, a group who became later known as the Chaldeans. The Hebrew Bible uses the term kasdim, and this is translated as Chaldeans. In the Septuagint, although there is some dispute as to whether kasdim in fact means Chaldean or refers to the South Mesopotamian Chaldee. These migrations did not affect the powerful kingdom of Assyria in the northern half of Mesopotamia, which repelled these incursions. The short-lived 11th dynasty of the kings of Babylon is conveniently known to historians as the Chaldean dynasty, although the last rulers, Nabon, I'm sorry, y'all know I hate these names that I don't know. Nabon, Nabonidus and his son Belshazzar were from Assyria. Those nomad Chaldeans settled in the far southeastern portion of Babylonia, chiefly on the left bank of the Euphrates, though for a short time the name later commonly referred to the whole of southern Mesopotamia. In the Hebraic literature, that this was a geographical and historical misnomer, as Chaldea proper was in fact only the plain in the far southeast formed by the deposit of the Euphrates and the Tigris, extending about 400 miles along the course of these rivers. But yeah, so we see, and you see, remember about the millstone being thrown in the sea. You see all of these are Arabian Sea, Caspian Sea, Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea. We don't have any seas over here in America. America is not Babylon, guys. America is not Babylon. He also said that they was going to throw dust on their head. We don't do that in America. They don't do that in Rome. Babylon is Iraq, Arabia area to this day. That's what it is. And their religion is Islam. Let's get Zechariah 10. See, that's the north. That's the north. That's above Israel. That's above Canaan. Let's get Zechariah 2. Iraq is present day where Chaldea would be. And Saudi Arabia, so all that area over there. And Islam is Babylon. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her. Come out of her, my people. I lifted up my eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then said I, Whither goest thou? And he said unto me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof. And behold, the angel talked with me and went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I have said, the Lord will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Ho, ho, come forth, flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. From the land of the north, Iraq, all of that. Flee from the land of the north. Flee from the land of the north, north of Jerusalem. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion. Thou dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. Who did we just read that was the daughter of Babylon in Isaiah 54? Iraq, the Chaldeans. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath sent me unto the nations which have spoiled you, for he hath touched you. For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that the Lord of the hosts hath sent me. So the Most High said, Ho, ho, come forth, flee from, the Messiah, ho, come forth, flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, saith the Lord. So we everywhere. So he's saying that some Israelites is in Iraq and all of that, and to flee. Come out of her, my people. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory have sent him unto me, the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion. For lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of thee. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And the Lord shall inherit Judah, his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O all flesh, before the Lord, for he is raised up out of his holy habitation. Guys, Babylon is over there, and it's Islam. They over there putting people in slavery. Who? Let's look into the slavery Libya. We see it at the Most High in Revelations. It was said. It said, see, they putting Israel, like these is the real Israel, and the Egyptians and the Most High's people. He said, Israel, my inheritance, Israel, my people, and the Assyrians. So he didn't say the Chaldeans though, and you clearly seen that it said the Chaldeans came from another area. Who enslaving the Libyans? Now I got a point to make with this. Who is they? The Iraqs? Mm-hmm. So they put people in slavery, but what did the scripture say? Those who no, Revelations. He that leadeth He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. He that killeth with the sword, guys. He that killeth with the sword. Now, we just seen pictures of them with swords and stuff, chopping people's heads off and all of that. Nah, they probably gonna hate me for this, but they gonna hate me for this. But if God is with me, who can be against me? Okay, understand that. They're gonna hate me for this. Now, they have a Roman Catholic Chaldean church. But where is that? Where is that? Where? I was just reading something. You know what? I think I screenshotted a little bit, but I don't know if I screenshotted the part. Hope I ain't got nothing on. Oh, y'all, my arm had got bruised. That's what that is. Okay. So it say, the two names, Chaldean and Assyrian, are still widely used to indicate some nations and people. In the area of religion, Chaldean still applies to all Chaldean Catholics of Iraq who use the Syriac language and follow the teachings of Rome. The term Assyrian is used to identify the followers of the Church of the East and has been employed as the name of the church since 1986. What did it say? The 10 kings of the East is going to rise with the whore and the beast. And that's Saudi Arabia. They are Babylon, and we gonna have to get into this. The Most High gonna put it together for me, and I'm gonna put it together for y'all, and we all gonna be on point with this. Church of the East and has been employed as a name for the church since 1986. In 1445, the then Nestorian Church in Cyprus indicated her wishes to join Rome. The Pope accepted the letter of conversion from Bishop Timotheus of the Chaldeans in Tarshish in Cyprus, who wrote the Pope Eugene IV, identifying himself as Bishop Timotheus of the Chaldeans. So Tarshish and Tarshish. So Tarshish is not in Rome, y'all. It's over there in the Middle East, in Chaldea. On September 7th, 14, let's look at that. Tarshish, let's just type it in and see what we get. Even the Chaldeans. And that's Isaiah 43. And you know what? We read Isaiah 43 yesterday, guys. But, I lost my pen. I'll come back to it. Isaiah 43, I don't remember because